Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Marketing Mode. I'm Jenna,
And I'm Todd.
and today we are discussing the importance of content, developing original content, and the need for an overall content strategy. Here we go. Hello, Todd. Happy Friday.
Oh, thank you. Yes, it is very nice to have a Friday and the weekend ahead.
Yes, I can't wait. It's been a grueling week, so it is a welcomed Friday and weekend for me.
Well, that's good. And nothing like starting off a Friday talking about a topic, that comes from one of our research studies that actually um, deals with content strategy. And really, this one here came from, as we were looking at some of our recent research studies, this was on from our digital marketing trends study. And when we saw the number one thing that companies were focusing on when it came to their digital marketing strategy was actually content creation. And, out of all the other things like technology, data, it was the content creation that came to the top. And I thought that was pretty significant because so many times, you know, uh, we're out there and we're doing a lot of different tactics. And when you step back and look, you realize that content is kind of is used in almost every tactic that we do. And I think that's why, in this case, it came to the top as far as the digital marketing, for your digital marketing strategy.
Yeah, like apparently content is still king. I actually was really surprised that it beat out technology and workflows just because and data, like you said, just because I mean, usually those are right at the top, especially when we're talking about focus of overall strategy, your entire digital marketing strategy. It's pretty cool that the content's right at the top. And like you said, it does filter into I mean, every other facet basically of a strategy, from social to display advertising, that sort of thing. So, um, I mean, it should be an area of focus, a top area of focus, but yeah, we were surprised to see that content creation was right at the top there.
Yeah, and it's interesting. A lot of times when we have initial meetings with clients and we're talking about a research study and the focus of that research study, one of the things we talk about and ask them is, can you explain to us your coming months, like your long-term strategy? Do you have, what are your focuses that you have so that we can match up the content that we're creating to align with those initiatives? So it's a little bit of reverse where like we're saying that, what are the things that you want to be talking about? What are the areas that you want to focus on? And let's make sure that we're having these large um, rock content pieces that can help support that. And that's probably kind of why we see that here, where companies are realizing, if I want to meet these objectives, I have to have, strong content to support, uh, like you said, those email campaigns, those advertising campaigns,
Yeah.
everything that we're doing.
Yeah, and it relies so heavily on knowing who you're speaking to and knowing your audience. And it's so easy to be like, oh, we're going to create a ton of content this year and we're going to filter it into where we're going to pump up social media posts. We're going to do this, that, and the other thing. We're going to create research. But if you don't approach your content strategy with knowing your audience and how to speak to them and where they are and what they're actually into and reading and digesting and looking at, then your entire content strategy is kind of moot, right?
No, it is. You're right. And, so that requires you to step back and look at your ideal customer profile, to, um, like I remember recently, Jenna, we had a conversation with a client and they were talking about that they were focused on the mid-market. And so our first question is, well, how do you define mid-market? What
Mm-hmm.
by company size, by revenue dollars? and you kind of keep digging deeper and deeper to find different ways that, like in our case, we're looking at it from the research perspective because we're going to be creating this content from the research. So if we understand, not only how they identified mid-market, but maybe industries that they're focused on, or regions of the country or the world that they're focused on, then we can start visualizing the type of content they're going to need, and in our case, the kind of research they're going to need as well.
Yeah, and that knowledge is dynamic, right? Like it could change year over year, just depending on the behaviors of that audience, that mid-market audience, or even if that particular client's a technology company. Even as your technology changes, you still might be targeting mid-market like customers, but the actual technology that you're offering them could change a little bit. And so that would also require kind of a new ICP, a new like they might be going to a different place to find what you're now offering. So it's important to keep in mind that people change, and at the end of the day, your audience, your ideal customer profile, it's humans. Like they're always changing things. There's new trends, there's new apps, new, like a TV show, things like if you're, doing display ads or whatever. So there's just a lot to think about there. And so I think it's really important to revisit that when you're starting to talk about, like optimization of content in the year ahead.
Right. And, of course, content's important. We've also touched on like data. So if we want to be data-driven marketers, it's this balance of, you're gathering and analyzing the data, and then based on that data, you're adjusting your customer profile, your strategies, your tactics, and then obviously that means you're changing your content as well, right? You're changing and you're evolving, and it's always fun. We always enjoy working with client. I would say majority of our clients are, year over year doing multiple programs with us, and it's really fun every year to find out, how they're evolving, what's changed, what strategies are being used, and then we can adapt with them. And for us and for them, obviously it comes down to not just creating content. And I think what you're alluding to Jen, it's not just creating content for content's sake, but creating content that meets a specific segmentation of your audience, or maybe a different product you're coming out with, and you're gonna have different needs. So it's a fun activity, and obviously marketers are doing it very, it's a top of mind for them.
Yeah, it is super, it's fun. It's like really inspiring actually to have these conversations with some of our clients that do evolve and listen, and it's just really cool to see how they listen, but also like how they adapt, and how they adapt their content and the language that they use, and just their approach to their content calendar for the coming like quarter or year or whatever it is. It's just really, those are really fun conversations to have where, we're like, they're like, okay, we're going to do this report, but like this year we're focused on this. So we really want to get into why XYZ audience is doing this. And like, those are really fun conversations to have.
It is, and it really sets up the marketer well, right? When they get when the executive team throws out the big strategy, right? The overarching strategy, and then they can come in and very strategically show how they're going to adjust their, in this case, their content program to meet those. I think it shows that there's a harmony between the strategy and the tactic, and the content can be that bridge, right? It can be that bridge to help make that happen.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And, if anybody wants to reach out, like Jenna and I love to talk about this. And obviously we can do it all day long. Uh, we won't do it all day long. We'll limit ourselves to preserve your time. But we love to talk about it. And, sometimes we have, prospects who, chat with us and we realize that, okay, maybe, content, maybe the research right now is not you know, not the right fit, and that's fine. But we at least are happy to go through those conversations and at least help you visualize how the research content could be used.
Oh yeah. I mean, and don't get me started, but like
Don't get me.
if you are like a smaller business or whatever, or mid-sized business, and you're looking to fill a content calendar for however long, up to a year, I would say, one key, like one foundational research report could do that for you. Like there's just so many ways to break it out. And so obviously we are huge proponents of including research in your content strategy. Like you said, it's not always a good fit. But it's definitely something to explore.
Yeah, we've had, I mean, uh, even within the last month, we've had companies that have had budget cuts, but are still going out and doing research with us. And I think it's because of what you're saying, Jenna, where, they can do one research content piece and then fill a lot of different projects that they have.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still typically economical. And, you need that, you know, in this case, it's really helpful to have that research too, to help quantify um, the different programs you're doing. As far as when I say quantify, you know, it, the one negative I would say with uh, AI content is sometimes it can be very general. And so having the research can help quantify statements for you. So you can, if there's a problem that you fix, you can help actually quantify the scope of that problem. Even this discussion today, where we're talking about content creation as being a primary focus, there's a big difference between us saying, you know, content should be your focus, and guess what? We can help you with that, versus showing some data to support that and then providing actionable ways that people can engage with you. It makes a world of difference.
Totally. And hopefully people can see that based on this episode.
That's right. But, it also has, like, hopefully that can be something that, you know, that you can incorporate into uh, those, those marketing programs you have. And as people are planning for 2024, we're here to discuss those options.
Totally. And as according to this chart that we're looking at, if you aren't putting content at the top, like it should be pretty high up, like your competitors probably are.
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you, Jenna. I guess with this, we can drop off, finish our work, and enjoy our weekend.
Yes. Have a great weekend, Todd.
Same to you, Jenna.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
We want to hear from you. Feel free to comment or leave a review, or head over to ascend2.com to learn more about our research.